All right, hello everyone, and welcome to today's interview. Today we're going to be talking to Mike Morrow and Edson Dauntless Jr., both from Natural Forces. So, hey Mike, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and hey Edson.
Hey Dave, how's it going?
Great. So, Mike, I think we're going to start things off with you. You're the operations manager, so why don't you give us a bit of an overview of Natural Forces, kind of a little bit of history, and also a little bit of information about what your guys' goals are as a company.
Sure. First, thanks for having us. Natural Forces, so we're based out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. We're an independent power producer, which essentially means that we generate electricity. We're focused solely on renewable energy projects. And, I'd say the purpose of our company is really to bring solutions to the climate emergency that we all face after we close out our pandemic emergency. So our history has really been focused on wind energy projects, solar projects, battery, microgrids, things like this. And our vision really is to partner with local communities or universities, corporations, First Nation communities across Canada, to bring renewable energy projects, to local communities owned by local communities. So yeah, our business model really has been partnership with, community-based renewable energy.
Right, yeah, and that's where we kind of we first met, was kind of getting into that project. And Edson, I think that's sort of where your role kind of really took off as well. So, Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about that SCADA improvement project?
Sure. First, I wish we had a better name for it. I'm not a necessarily creative guy, but some sort of operation cool name. But so we came up with SCADA Improvement Project, which is, we'll move on from there. So really, from my perspective, we had been operating our sites for a few years. And as we know, across the world, renewable energy is gaining momentum. And for us, I work in the operations department, so we take care of these projects once they're built and commissioned. And our projects are typically 20 to 30 years long. Working with my development colleagues and our management, we realized that we have a very steady stream of projects coming down the pipeline that we need to prepare for. So when we were operating, a low number of projects, having individual sites with their own SCADA plants was okay. But now as we get bigger and more global, we wanted to bring a bit more under one roof, essentially, for our SCADA systems. Another challenge we had is that, as these projects do get older, we have very limited data storage on each of these sites. So if you think about historically, whether it was a coal-fired facility or a nuclear power plant or something like this, all that generation is under one roof with one team and one server, and it's all in one premise. Whereas with us, with wind energy and solar and hydro projects, these are dispersed energy projects. So, we have projects in a relatively remote community in Labrador. We have projects out in northern BC, projects in Saskatchewan, all across Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. And most of these staffs don't have full-time team members on site. So, downloading data off a local PC was not really a good path forward for a long-term project. And then, because they're not manned or staffed full time, you think about it, the event of we have weak internet at some of our sites. You think about a redundancy if, in case the local PC fails or the, various forms of internet that we have fail, we needed some backup redundancy there. And really, one thing we wanted was some in-house ability to configure and customize our projects. So, that led us down a developer route versus having to hire consultants to come in and do these things for us. And last, I would say, or probably most important, is the cybersecurity aspect of electrical generation and the electrical grid. In North America, the electrical grid was identified as one of the most vulnerable sectors to, hacking and ransomware attacks, probably even 10 years ago by, the federal government in Canada and the US. So there's a lot of standards and qualifications and certifications that we need to adhere to and strive to build towards in terms of cybersecurity. So that collection of little pieces all formed, the desire to move on with our creatively named SCADA improvement project. And that's where Edson came in and he knew what our needs were, and really it was up to him to design a project and really build it for us. So I think he can get into the details a bit more than I can.
Right. Okay. So when you first started this project, did you have ambitions to, someday end up in the cloud, or were these kind of isolated projects that the stage 2 goal was sort of, okay, tie it together and scale it up?
Yeah, I think for us, our first vision was a local, like an in-house remote server. I think that was our first thought, was let's put a server in our IT room or in a remote location and move it towards there. But once Edson started this project, I think he came up with a very creative solution, and I believe something that our entire industry will start moving towards, which was a cloud-based server system. There's a ton of benefits, and I think that was, I'll credit Edson with finding that for our project.
Right. Very cool. So Edson, I guess we'll flip over to you now, and why don't you tell us a little bit about implementing that, kind of going from those on-site servers to creating that cloud-based backup.
So for create the cloud-based backup, it's easy with VTScada because you just need to copy the VTScada that you have at the substation that you did a commission there. So in our example, we had 4 substations, and we had different kind of VTScadas with different versions. Okay, yeah. And when we start this project was a big challenge because, like Mike said, and the first project was keep everything in the IT room. We need IT department, and we need server, switches, cables. And in IT equipments, it's quickly becomes outdated, And because we decide move on for cloud server, and we decide to move on for cloud server, it became more scalability, more easy to us because we just need an internet connection, and we can have everything in the cloud. We can have data storage, we can have the servers, and you can have more security, And when we decide to install the server, we research about the providers like Microsoft Azure, Amazon, Oracle. Yeah, and we decide to keep it in Microsoft Azure, and we start the project. We bought the license, and for it, a specific license for the cloud server. And I contact you, and you give me everything that we need, and we decide to install it. And we install the license, and we connect the VPN between the remote wind farm, and the cloud server. It becomes just one grid, one network connection. And the cloud server can share information with the local server, And everything can be shared like license. If you have unlimited license in the substation, it can share it with the server. It's amazing. And the connection between the VTScada cloud server and VTScada local server, it's amazing because it's fast, and you can share everything quickly, and you can storage everything in the cloud. And for us, we don't have a physical server. We just have internet connection, and we can grab everything remotely, everywhere. It's an amazing project. And like Mike said, the improvement of automation in a lot of different companies, could be oil, gas, and water. Yeah, I think that in future, they will migrate to cloud servers because, like I said, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think for that dispersed architecture and also for your future scalability, I think you've got a really good solution right now. Where you guys are with it seems absolutely perfect for your place. And Mike, you've got a lot of projects up and coming. So we're really looking forward to learning more about that and kind of seeing you guys grow into those sites kind of through that Azure service. I know that through demos and other things, if we need to do a demo, we want to give somebody a very low latency service. it's Azure's the first place that I will go to, throw VTScada on a computer and say, well, here's an endpoint that you can hit, and you can have a really good experience. So again, I can put one in Europe, I can put one in Australia, I can put one almost anywhere in the world, and be up and running in almost no time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I won't pretend to be a SCADA engineer or expert. Again, I'm more on the operations and maintenance side of our company, but one thing that we really strive for is redundancy in terms of communications and network outages, things like this. And for us, we have our PC on site, but again, if that fails or we have an issue with it, we have our cloud server, and the version that we went with was the dual server. So that gives us, again, another second and tertiary backup redundancy for our system. So for us, that helps me sleep a little bit better at nighttime, and knowing that if we have a failure of a PC on site or something like this, we have a secondary and tertiary backup. So it's a great system, and it really helps us move forward with the onslaught of new projects coming down the pipeline here.
Great. So I guess we're kind of running out of time here. So if anybody wanted to reach out to you, what would be a good way for somebody who's maybe interested in joining you on a project, or maybe they have a good idea, a nice location, somewhere that they think that would work well for you guys?
Sure. The first thing I would recommend is stopping by our website and understand some of the projects that we do and that we have done, and look what expertise we can bring to the table. Again, I believe there's dozens and dozens of renewable energy developers out there, but for us, our focus is really on partnering with local communities, and again, bringing that local ownership perspective to a project. So again, first stop would be our website to see some of our projects, and you can find contact information there as well.
Great. I want to thank you guys both for joining us today, and I hope you guys have a great day. I really appreciate you for joining us.
All right. Thanks for having us, Dave. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.